Hey, Psycho coming at you 10/3/2015. Today we're going to make Not So Famous Dave's Texas Chili. That kind of pretty much everything laid out. I'm going to make this in a bunch of little snippets and tie it together. And what I did last night was I had about half pound of bacon, cook it in there, and crumbled it up. And what I'm going to do is I have 3 pounds of chuck roast here that I cut up in, I don't know, 1-inch, half-inch pieces. Tried to make them all the same. Put some salt and pepper on them, and I'm probably going to cook them in about 4 different batches in the pan, and we'll see how she comes out. Okay, one of the keys here when you brown this stuff is you got to have some spacing. You don't just lump all that stuff in there all at once. You got to be patient, do a little bit at a time. Okay, next thing I'm doing is browning the 2 pounds of coarse ground chuck. And I've got on there a little bit of garlic powder. I use very little of that bacon fat. You want maybe barely enough to cover the bottom, or just a little bit less, because you do get some fat from the chuck meat that you did. And basically here's how much I got of that now. The bottom of the pan, obviously, I got sticking to it, you know, bits and pieces, but you don't want to get rid of that flavor. When I deglaze it I'm going to deglaze it with a 7-ounce bottle of Corona and some Jose Cuervo, and we'll see how that comes out. There's one other meat that goes into this, but I don't have it yet. I have to go out and get it. I'm going to have 1 pound of cooked brisket that I'm going to shred to put in here, and I cook the chili for 3 hours. The chunk meat goes in right away, then the next hour the ground chuck, and then the last hour I'll put the brisket in. So let's finish this up. Okay, the ground chuck is done. Looks pretty good. Turn the heat off on the pot. Now, you take a look at there, I didn't pour anything out. Okay. When I was making the chuck, it actually deglazed it a little bit, but I turned the heat off. This electric stove, so it'll keep cooking. Okay, get a little hard. So I got enough of what I'll call lubricant in there to do the vegetables. But before I do the vegetables, we're going to make the chili paste, and then we'll do the third phase of this and show you how it's done. But to go over the meats again, 3 pounds of chuck roast cubed into half-inch, 1-inch pieces, 2 pounds of ground chuck browned, and then I don't have it yet, but I am going to go out and get 1 pound of cooked brisket. I'm going to shred that. Okay, here's how you make the chili powder. What I've got here are the dried chilies. These two are anchos, and an ancho is a poblano pepper. It's mild, medium to mild. It's not very hot. These are pasillas. They are hot. I got a couple of those, and or 3 anchos, I should say. 1, 2, 3, and then these two right here are hot, and I don't know how to pronounce it. Diarbo, I don't know. I took German in school, not Spanish. But anyway, what I'm going to do is turn the oven on 350 degrees. I got a little cookie sheet here, and these are sitting on some parchment paper. I'm going to crank that oven up to 350, stick these in there for about 5 or 6 minutes, then pull them out, let them cool. They'll release the fragrance in there, kind of puff up a little bit, and then I'm basically going to take the stems and seeds out of them, and I'm going to put them in my little coffee grinder here that I don't use anymore. And then I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of Mexican oregano, and a tablespoon of ground cumin, and a tablespoon of dark coffee. And what I'm going to do is I need to determine how hot this is. So what I'm probably going to do during the cooking process, I'm going to make a paste of this stuff when I combine everything together, is basically you put it in a little bowl, put some hot water in there, a couple tablespoons, make a paste. Okay, then you take the paste, bring it over to the pot, cook it for about a minute, and then I've got white onions diced and green pepper and some garlic to put in there. But I am not going to use all of this in the paste because I'm in a contest, and one of the things I've learned, I've been about 5 of these. I was down at my university when I went to school. Spanish Club had a contest there, and I took 3rd out of about 14 people. And I went to my buddy's ski club, had a chili cook-off. As a matter of fact, it's going to be tomorrow. I won last year, took 1st place. The year before, I took 4th. And you got to know your audience. The judges at the one down at my university, there were 10 judges from restaurants in Indianapolis. 6 of them were Hispanic, and you could get it hot and they wouldn't mind it. But this crowd tomorrow that I learned, it's an older crowd. They don't like it very hot. So I'm going to use, like I says, I'm going to grind all this stuff up, make a paste of it, use some of it in here. I'll hold some in reserve. If I don't think it's hot enough, I'll put some in during the cooking process. But I'll show you what this looks like when it comes out of the oven. Okay, I just pulled these out of the oven, 350 degrees for 5 minutes. You can see how they puffed up. I'm going to wait here about 10 minutes or so, let them cool. Then I'll open them up, take the seeds and stems out, and start putting them into the grinder. And then I'll show you the final product here. Okay, that's what the paste, or not the paste, but that's what the powder looks like. All the dried chilies ground up with the oregano and the cumin. I'm going to get a couple tablespoons of hot water, make the paste, fire up the pot again, and cook the paste for about a minute. And then I'm going to throw in the onions and the green peppers, cook those for about 5. I'll show you what that looks like, and then throw in the garlic, and then head on to the last couple of parts. Okay, after I cooked the onions and the green pepper and jalapenos, I added some garlic, sauteed it for a couple of minutes, then deglazed it with the 7-ounce bottle of beer, and added the tequila to it. Then I added 3 28-ounce cans of the crushed tomatoes, San Marzano, 3 of those. Put a couple of bay leaves in there. I think about 3 of them, 3 small ones. And I decided against cycling the meats. I just put them all in there. And I have the brisket in there with the ground chuck and the chuck roast beef chunks. So I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, and then I'm going to back it off, and then I'm going to come back in an hour and see what the thickness is. There is some grease in there, but what will happen is overnight when I put it in the refrigerator after it cools off, all that grease will come to the top and you can scrape it off. So be back here in a bit. Okay, this stuff's been cooking for about 3 hours. I apologize I didn't get the video of cooking the paste and adding the vegetables, just to go over that. Once I cooked the paste for about a minute or 2, I chopped up 3 cups of white onions, 2 cups of green pepper, and I had 2 jalapenos in there that I diced up. I added that to the paste, and then mixed that up for probably about 5 minutes. Started getting a bunch of sticking at the bottom of the pan, and I took the 7-ounce bottle of beer and the tequila, deglazed it, then put in about 2 heaping tablespoons of garlic, cooked it in for another couple of minutes, and then I added, I decided to add all the meats at the same time. I added the cubed chuck roast, the coarse ground chuck, and I did get a pound of brisket. I shredded that up and I put it in here. I had 3 28 cans of Marzano tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, that I put in here. And then I put in, filled it up with probably about 6 cups of beef broth. I've got a little bit left here, and I'm going to save that for later. I also, at the end of 1 hour, I took some of the liquid out of here, probably about a cup worth. Took 2 tablespoons of starch, cornstarch, and mixed it up, put it back in here. The way that I really wanted to make it was, if you take masa harina, which is a corn base, you could do the same thing. I like the taste. When I took fourth a couple of years ago, there were some people who told me they didn't like that taste, so I didn't put it in here. What I'm going to do, let me see what the consistency is. A little watery for my taste. You know, everything looks like I took the bay leaves out of here. Okay. Consistency is a little watery, but here's what I've learned. There's about 2 minutes left to go to cook this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to shut this off right now. What I'm going to do, it's about 3 o'clock here in the afternoon on a Saturday. What I'm going to do is just let this cool off. As soon as it cools off, I'm going to take it, and I've got some heat pads. I'm going to put this out on in our sunroom. It's been pretty cool here in the evening, probably about 45 degrees. I'm going to watch some football tonight, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for the night. When I get up in the morning, I will have fat. Some of the fat will come and it'll rise. It'll get hard. I'll lift that off of there, and then what I'll do is I'll put it back into the pot, maybe a smaller one, because I've got a crock pot that I'm going to take this in. So whatever will fill that crock pot, I'll scoop out of here, and then I'll give it the taste test. If it's too thick, I can put some more of the beef broth in there. If it's not thick enough, I'll do what I did before. I'll drain off, but I got a real good feeling that in the morning, it may be watery now, but the thickness might be perfect. Then the other thing I'll do is I'll heat it up, and I'll give it a taste test. If it's, I don't believe it's, I had a little bit of it already. It's not too hot. If I want to add some more to it, I've got the, I don't have the paste, but I have the powders. I could put that back in there. And then I'll, heat it up, check it again. I'm going to put some brown sugar in here because I haven't. And then just kind of taste it here and there, see if it needs any salt or pepper, and that'll be pretty much about it. This is Texas chili con carne. No righteous Texan in their mind would ever eat chili with beans. And then I'll show you the presentation that I've got for this once I'm done with it. But pretty much done for now. Just need to let it to cool off, cover it up, let it sit in the sunroom, cool off, and then when I go to bed tonight about midnight after watching football, I'll stick it in the fridge, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow morning. Okay, Dave, coming at you. This has been about 2 hours already. I'm letting it cool, and the consistency is gnat's ass perfect right now. I pulled all the bay leaves out. When I get up in the morning and pull this out of the fridge and get the fat off of it, it's probably going to be a little bit too thick. But I did save the stock. I can put that in there, and then I'll do the taste test on it. But from a consistency standpoint, this is looking real good. It's a lot easier to go from thick to thin than it is from thin to thick. Hey, Dave, coming at you Sunday morning, 10/4/2015. The chili I pulled out of the refrigerator, there was a little bit of fat on it. I took it, removed it from there, and just put it back in the refrigerator. It looks pretty much the same it did yesterday. I added the rest of the chili powder. It gave it a little bit more zing, but not much. The consistency was good. It's a little thick right now, but once it heats up, it'll be fine. I'm going to put it in this crock pot, and then for the presentation, a couple years ago, my nephew and his wife bought me some spices from Texas, and they came in this basket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bacon bits and some corn chips, green onion, red onion, and I got the little bottle of empty bottle here of Corona. I'm going to put a flour in there just for a little bit of presentation. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to scan through here the recipe. If there was another way that I knew how to do this, I'd do it, but I apologize for being so crude with this. But tasted good. Like I says, you're in a contest, you got to know who your judges are. And it's a meaty chili, 3 meat chili, no beans. Texas chili doesn't have any beans in it. And I'm going to scan the recipe here for you right now. The only thing missing here is in the put it together scene, I had about 2 or 3 bay leaves. So you can, it's up to you if you want to put it in there or not. I came up with this. I saw a couple of YouTube videos, and then I Googled something on the internet, and basically this recipe came from about 4 different ones. I modified a few things, but I have the contest today, this evening, and I'll let you know how it goes. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them. I'll answer any questions you might have. Psycho 10-4 2015 over and out.